I'm pleased to report that unemployment is low, business investment is steady, consumer spending is strong. With these fundamentals right, the GST will come down again. Personal income taxes will come down again. Business taxes will come down again. In fact, our government will put business taxes on a 5-year downward track to ensure continued economic growth in the face of growing international competition and uncertainty. The purchasing power of consumers will go up, the take-home pay for all Canadians will go up, and Canadian businesses, from neighborhood coffee shops to large corporations, will have more freedom to create jobs and make further investments in their businesses. Since coming to office 21 months ago, our government has taken actions that will reduce the overall tax burden for Canadians and businesses by about $190 billion, bringing taxes to their lowest level in nearly 50 years. Our government is establishing a proud legacy of tax relief. We have provided relief in every way the government collects taxes, personal taxes, consumption taxes, business taxes, excise taxes. As a conservative minority government, we have made tremendous strides in a short period of time. At the heart of this effort is an additional 1 percentage point reduction in the GST, moving it from 6% to 5% effective January 1, 2008. This is a permanent tax cut for all Canadians. Whether purchasing a coffee or a car, a computer, or a new home, all Canadians will benefit. This motion proposes an increase in the basic personal amount to $9,600, retroactive to January 1st, 2007. The basic personal amount will be increased to $10,100 on January 1st, 2009. This is the total amount all Canadians can earn without paying federal income tax. This proposal will provide Canadians with an additional $2.5 billion in tax relief in 2007 and 2008. And there is more. Our government will also move the lowest personal income tax rate to 15% from 15.5%, retroactive to January 1st, 2007. Personal income taxes will come down even further as a result of our tax-back guarantee. This year, we plan to make an additional debt reduction of $10 billion for a total of more than $37 billion in debt relief since coming to office. Together, these income tax cuts will deliver relief on spring income tax returns. These tax cuts will move some 385,000 people off the income tax rolls altogether. With these reductions, Canada's general federal corporate income tax rate will fall by 1/3 between 2007 and 2012. Canada's corporate tax rate will become the lowest among the major industrialized economies. This will give businesses in Canada a substantial tax advantage over businesses in the United States. There is more. In order to make businesses even more competitive, it is essential that employment insurance premiums be reduced. Accordingly, our government welcomes the decision of the EI Commission to lower the employment insurance premiums by 10 cents for employers and 7 cents for employees effective January 1, 2008. Reducing EI premiums will bring total revenue in line with the costs of the program. It will also provide a further boost to workers' paychecks and leave businesses with more opportunities to invest and compete. Our government is also paying attention to small business. We are proposing to accelerate the small business income tax rate reduction to 11% by 2008, which is 1 year earlier than scheduled. The $60 billion tax relief package announced today brings the federal tax burden to its lowest level in nearly half a century. And our government is committed to further tax reductions. Why? Because we want to create more jobs, encourage further investment, and ease the tax burden on individuals, families, and businesses.
No economist worth his salt will say the GST cut is a good idea, but they say more income tax cuts, more corporate tax cuts. Why not put it all into those two good tax cuts instead of the GST cut?
Well, you're assuming that there's such a thing as a bad tax cut. I've never met one. I'm in favor of tax cuts. We think Canadians pay too much tax. The GST is a tax paid by all Canadians. Even Canadians who don't pay income tax have to pay the GST when they buy things. We promised to reduce the GST by 2 points. Because of a strong economy, we're able to do it earlier than we had planned. So we're going ahead and we're going to have this permanent, year after year tax reduction for all Canadians. It's part of a larger reduction of taxes here. About $45 billion of the tax reductions are for individuals and families, about $15 billion for businesses, so about 75% of the tax reductions in the economic statement will benefit individuals and families in Canada.
We agree about the decrease of the corporate tax. I called for that. It's important for our families, our workers, our competitiveness, our productivity. We disagree with the imbalance about the weight of the income cuts, of the tax cuts, if you compare with the investments. It's more than 2/3 goes to tax cuts and only 1/3 may go. The government doesn't add additional tax cuts for investment, for our families, for the social fabric of the country, for the environment, for social justice, and so on. This is completely imbalanced. It's a very conservative approach. The GST tax cut is a mistake. It will not help the productivity of our country. It will not help our families as it should. It's a big mistake the government is doing. We will choose our time when we will decide to put this government down. It will not be tomorrow. We'll have a healthy debate about the mistakes the government is doing, and when the time will come, Canadians will have two visions to choose about, and we are very confident they will choose the Liberal one. The key point is that we will not choose to have an election, 3 elections in 3 years and a half, but we are completely in disagreement with this approach. It's not good for Canada, and we'll choose our time. Since we have this opportunity, we'll choose our time to have this debate during an election, and we'll win this election for Canadians.
So the only thing would have made us voting for that would have been that the Quebec government taking the 1% of the GST that had been reduced today, but they announced they won't do it. So in that situation, we won't support that.
So you wouldn't mind fighting an election on this?
No, not at all. I mean, we're taking, as I'm telling you, since the Quebec government refused to take that 1% of the GST that had been reduced, we just can't support that.
This economic statement was an unprecedented opportunity to get us going in the right direction in this country. And the NDP wanted to see a balanced approach. But the economic statement certainly failed to provide any sense of balance. This was an unprecedented opportunity to invest in people and in their communities. Unfortunately, the statement has failed to do that. It was an opportunity for targeted tax relief for the people who need it the most, but the statement clearly failed to do that. And it was also an opportunity to close the growing prosperity gap that we see in our society. Instead, the strategy proposed by the Conservatives widens the prosperity gap. This economic update continues to take Canada in the wrong direction, and therefore we cannot support it. Working families and middle-class people deserve better than this, and the NDP will be voting against this plan.